Hello friends, you're with a Lonesome Gamer and I'm playing Charlemagne. So the year is now 786 to 790 and well, it's hard to tell what the situation is. I mean, maybe it's not looking quite as grim anymore for Charlemagne, although I'm not sure about that. I mean, he managed to beat the Vikings here near Nantes and a big army of the Saxons in Erfurt. However, there are still Slavonic riders in the heart of his realm, more or less, in Austrasia. And we have a massive Lombardian army sitting here in Alemannia. So these are a big threat to the empire, and we'll see how Charlemagne will handle these. Now first it's the tribal player, so we're going to roll a die here for the event, and this is 24, and that is a plague. Okay, each player rolls one die and immediately loses a number of treasury points equal to the number rolled. Then roll one die for each region. On a 1 to 3 nothing happens. On a 4 to 6 plague occurs in that region. Both players must eliminate one half of their units in that region. One half of neutral units in each plague region are also eliminated, determined by the tribal player. Okay, so there's a lot to do now, and I think I'm gonna do that off camera. Well, we might roll for the treasure loss right now, so the empire loses all the money they have, and the tribal player also a lot, so that is already pretty painful. And then we continue with the plague itself. Okay, that was pretty grim. I think everybody took some bad hits. The tribal player was very unlucky. We had the plague also in Alemannia, and that means that the half of this potent army is lost now, and now they really suck. They have just one unit left here, and they are now easy prey for that army here of Charlemagne. Also in Lombardy we lost a few units here, and Emirat of Cordoba was also hit. But so was Neustria, for example. There a few units went away, and now Paris is pretty wide open for that army here. And of course an interesting aspect is here that especially the neutral ones are pretty much weakened. I mean, the other regions have that levy phase each turn, and usually they can fill up their armies pretty fast. It just takes them 1 or 2 turns because there are not too many troops in these counter trays here. But the neutral ones, they don't levy any units during the turns, so that means we have now quite a few regions where some castles remain empty. For example, here the Anglo-Saxons, we have here 2 empty castles. Or let me see, Byzantium, for example, down here we had to remove 5 units there. So here the south of Italy, and in Gaeta there was a nice force. It's all gone. And also in here, Vienna, for example, from the Avars, this is now also empty. Bavaria, another one, Salzburg. So this gives the players now also options to grab a few new castles without attacking these neutrals. So yeah. Now the tribal player can do his actions. Well, first he actually does the stratagem phase. So he is a little bit in trouble. Let's see what we get here. Treachery. He might use the Heerbann now, which gives him additional forces. That might be a good time to do that. So he still controls Valencia and gets one for free. So that means he gets 2 of these stratagems. The Crown of Pavia. That's pretty useful to defend vassalage attempts against Lombardy. Let's see. Okay. Vassalage phase, well, I won't play anything. I don't have any vassalage markers except for the Crown of Pavia. And then treasury and levy, which I'm also going to do off a camera. But I'm going to play this... oh, wait a minute. I got this Frankish General Assembly. I think that helps me. Yeah, this counts as 2 vassalage markers for 1 vassalage attempt against Neustria, Burgundy, blah, blah. I could try Thuringia, but that is now captured by the Empire, at least the city there. But Alemannia, for example, that would be an interesting option because I control the only city there. Yeah, and it works. So that's what I do. I'm going to throw in 1 marker here. So that's worth 2 for Alemannia. This Frankish General Assembly. And then, oh, come on. Get in there. Now, does the other guy has something to play too? Well, he's got 2 of these vassalage markers. I mean, he could play both of them. Hard to tell. Maybe he should. So he throws in these 2. Let's see what the odds are. I mean, this thing is Christian, so it's not that easy to get it. Right now we are at 2. It doesn't matter. It's not a, but it's a +1, so we will be at 3. Huh. So yeah, I guess I want to throw in both of them. But I'm gonna roll a die here. So let's see, the first one a 1 to 5, yes. And the second one also 1 to 5. Yeah, okay. So they go in both. However, this guy might use his treachery marker. And I also do that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it. Okay, so that means basically I have now, I think I'm on the 2 space here. I have 3, got to subtract 1. So that means wait a minute, I had 2 plus 1, yeah, okay. So it's the 2. I need a 6 to be completely successful. Oh boy. That's only a 1, so that is a stratagem for the Empire. They get a vassalage marker. Well, not too great. So let's hire some troops. So I did all the levy and hiring. I used the hairbun stratagem. I rolled a 3, so I got 3 units for free. And what I did is basically a consolidation turn here. I placed 3 units from the levy action here, from Lombardy here, and I moved them all to Zurich. So again, I have now a pretty big force there. I placed some garrisons again in Verona and Pisa, so I control now these castles again. So these the effects of the plague are more or less already cancelled. Starting to build an army here in Zaragoza. And now what I want to do is I want to move this guy back to Scandinavia. And by the way, it costs me 5 movement points to enter a peripheral zone. But I still have enough. I did the counting here. Now I want to spend this guy or activate this guy, and I want to move with him here to Canterbury and grab this burg. And I really have to remember that I'm sitting there. Gives me a few points, or gives me a buck basically. That's always nice. And I wanted to try a missionary action here in Alemannia now with this force. That costs me, I think, 3 points, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's actually 4 points. Yeah, but that's okay. I need to have a unit in the area, which is obviously the case. And I got to play a missionary marker. So let's do that. And now he can play a marker against that. And I guess he wants to do it. He also throws in a missionary marker, at least on a 1 to 5. He does that. Yeah. So now we come to the conversion operations table, and that's not going to be easy, but I want to try it anyway. So the good thing is, I mean, we are now at the 0, right? We spent 1 and he reduced 1. But I control all burgs in the region. However, I got to do a conversion attempt against a Christian region. So it's very unlikely. I'm going to roll a 6. I mean, probably that was a waste. But anyway, let's do it. Okay, that's no effect then. And by the way, I got a lot of money. I got 15 bucks here. I should have considered maybe buying a few stratagem markers, but okay, I can still do that in the next turn. And now I want to activate that force. This is going to be now the most interesting force because they are pretty powerful and they can possibly take out Paris. Although it's not easy. What about Charlemagne himself? How strong is this guy? Hard to tell. I mean, he's at 2, 8. I think he's better than I am. And he can tribble. Yeah, so I don't want to do that. But I mean, I can also take out these guys first in Reims, I guess. That should be possible. Let's see, we're going to roll a die first to see how many points we get. Okay, that's 6 because of the leader, plus 12 brings it up to 18. What about these guys up here? They are pretty strong. I think I cannot move there. But Reims and Paris, they should be both possible to take. So I guess we move on here. 1 space. Plus 3. That's 1, 1, 2, 3 for the attack. And that is looking pretty good. Here we have 6, 12. I think we got 4. No, that's 4. Okay, we got 21, 22 against 12 exactly. That sucks. That's not quite on the 2-to-1 table. That's bad luck. But okay, that means that we are on a 1.5-to-1 table. So let's kick it off. Oh, that wasn't too great. That's a 2. That's a bloodbath. Not good at all. So that means this guy is destroyed. Neustria. There we are. But also one of my units is killed. Slavonics. Let's throw them in here. Okay, and we don't get a stratagem marker, and that's a shame. So then we enter this space for 1 more point, and I think I want to do a pillage action for 2 more points. So let's roll a die. Wow, awesome, that is a 6, so that gives us a buck. And another ruin for this guy. We might have considered to do a pillage action in Verdun actually, but maybe we can move back there after pillaging Paris. Okay, so then we continue our movement here, 1 space. And 1, 2, 3 for the attack against Paris. Okay, and there, oh, that's hard to take out, man. That's hard to take out, but we can try it. I mean, we got 1428 versus 24. I'm going to go for it. You know, there's not a lot to lose here. So that's a 1-on-1. Let's see what we get. Well, that's a 4. I think that's okay. So the guy is defeated. Half of the defending strength points are gone. Get a stratagem marker, and they got a retreat. That's pretty cool. However, I'm not sure they can retreat over a river, actually. No, they can't. And that means, because they can also not enter my zone of control, they are completely eliminated. Okay. So that was good. Now we're sitting here in Paris. And I also want to pillage this for 2 more bucks here. So let's see what we do. That's a 3. So that means the other guy will get a stratagem. But the pillage was successful. And because it was a civilization center, I think I get an additional buck there. Yeah, 2 treasury points. So overall, with the pillaging of Reims, I get 3 treasury points. Okay, I continued my movement to Bayeux, simply to get further away from Charlemagne. He's, where is he? Here. So there is now quite a distance to my guys over there. So if he wants to defend us or to defeat us, he has to move here. And then if he wants to fight these guys here in Zurich, he has to go back or whatever. So it will cost him a few movement points to get there. So I think it's better than sitting here in Verdun. And this is getting more and more expensive for Charlemagne to rebuild all these castles. And of course the loss of a civilization marker is always a problem too. So I guess I'm then done with my actions. I have to pay for provision in these spaces here. We got here a lot of units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I gotta pay for 3, but these 2 are not expensive. So overall it costs me only $5 here. The warrior array costs me 3, but the others cost me only 1, I think. And I also gotta pay here, I guess. So it's the turn of Charlemagne now. And we go again into the event phase. Okay, that is a 51. That's going to be a revolt. And that might now hit the Emirate of Cordoba, which would be painful for the tribal player. So let's see. The revolt succeeds on a 1 to 3. Yeah, okay. So we roll for the Emirat, and that sucks. So there goes the Emirat. It becomes now neutral. And that's bad, because that also means, I mean, basically that means that the tribal player gets a ton of less money now. That's $7 less, 4 for the areas, and 3 extra for controlling the Emirat. And in addition, he loses that civilization center. So that was very, very painful. And then we roll for Asturia, I think. Where is it? Down here. Asturias. Okay, that succeeds too. But that now becomes tribal, because that was neutral before. However, that is by no means as good as the Emirat of Cordoba. And what about Navarre? That is also a revolt, so these go away from the tribal player. So that wasn't too great. But these kind of things happen all the time in this game. So, but of course, losing the Emirat of Cordoba is bad. But he could have been glad that he had it for so long, and he could make a lot of money with that. So, yeah. Okay. Now we come to the stratagem phase, and it's now only 3 stratagems for Charlemagne. The Frankish General Assembly, that's a pretty powerful vassalage stratagem. A military advance. And another vassalage. Okay, that's pretty awesome. So he could now try to do again vassalage actions against Lombardy. That's definitely something he wants to do. I mean, he could throw in maybe these 3. I mean, that would neutralize the army in Zurich. And I think that is absolutely something which is important for him. So he will actually throw in all these. I mean, he could also, damn, what about Saxony up there? No, I wanna try Lombardy first. So we throw in 3 of them, and does he have anything? He could try the Crown of Pavia to defend himself against that. I think that should work. Yeah. Yeah, that counts as 2 vassalage markers. So in the end now, these 3 vassalage markers are only worth 1. That's definitely painful. But it's Christian. So let's see where we are. Yeah, that's a +1, so we are at the 2 table here. And let's see what we get. That's a 5, that's pretty good. That's a C. So the C makes that neutral. And that is a disaster for the tribal player, because that was his most powerful region. But let's be honest, that was something to expect. And again, I think we can say, let's be happy we could hold that for so long. We could have done a lot of damage. We did a lot of damage here in Alemannia. And I think we can be happy. Now this army, though, will remain here in Zurich. And then you can try to play this Frankish General Assembly. And I think this gives him 2. Maybe against Thuringia. That sounds reasonable. I mean, he's sitting in there. It's pagan, which isn't so great. I mean, he could first do a missionary attempt there. He's got a few missionary markers. So yeah, maybe he should go first with a missionary attempt and then try to get a success there. Okay, yeah. Fine. So it's looking much better now for the Frankish player. The Emirat is lost and Lombardy is lost for the tribal player. That is very important. So basically we only have now these Slavonics sitting here, and over there the Saxons. But I'm pretty sure this is something we can deal with, and now we should actually start to rebuild the empire. That's our first goal now. You know, restore all these plundered, pillaged castles, maybe build a few civilization areas and so on, as long as we have the time to do that. But first we got to get rid of these Slavonics. I think that's our first goal here. And of course we can get new troops. I completely forgot about that during the treasury and the levy phase. So my plan is now not to spend any money in troops. I didn't do it. I don't have that much money anyway. I'm at $12 now. But I want to rebuild my castles so that my income raises during the next turns. But that is expensive to do. I think removing pillage costs $5 or something like that. I'm not absolutely positive. No, it's $5 from a Burg hex. I mean, then the Burg is basically reconstructed, but still, it's a lot of money. And it's also important that I can do this remove pillage action at the end of a treasury phase. But there has to be a unit in a pillaged area. Now what is important is I cannot bring units into play in pillaged areas. I can bring mercenaries into play only in castles, and I can bring and only in castles that I actually control. And I can bring the levied units only into play. I can bring them into play basically everywhere, except in pillaged areas or in an enemy zone of control. So that means what I can't do is simply place a unit here and then remove the pillage right away in one action. That's not possible. I have to place them somewhere next to it, then spend a turn, move in here, and then in the next turn I can remove the pillage marker. So we come now to the operations phase, and obviously I'm gonna activate now these guys here. Roll a die. That's a lot. That's 15 plus 12, so that's 27. And that is enough to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to move here and attack Bayeux. So we are at 9, and then we got to pay 2 more, so we got to spend 12 overall. So I'm going to calculate that, and I might actually play the military advance here. So this is 18, 19. These guys have 14, 15. Yeah, I'm going to throw in a military advance. There is no doubt about that. So that means I can quadruple my strength. So that means I'm at 19, brings it to 76, right? And the other guys can triple their strength. So they are at 15, so they are at 45. 76 against 45, holy moly, is that a 1.5? No, it isn't. It's still a 1-on-1. Wow, that sucks, man. That really sucks. Now, does a military advance then make sense at all? That's the interesting question. Well, I realized I did the math wrong. So if I throw in a military advance, I end up at this 1.5 to 1 table. So I'm definitely going to do it. And yeah, so we're here now, and let's roll a die. That sucks. That's a 2, so that is a bloodbath. Okay, so here's the thing. The side with fewer printed strength points is completely eliminated. Okay, now these are the other guys. They have only 14, 15 strength points, and I have 19. So that means they are completely gone. The Slavonics and that leader goes back into the cup. Okay. There we go. And I think I also have to remove 3 units. We'll see. What about Charlemagne? A number of strength points at least equal. Yeah, okay. So they had 15. That means I have to eliminate all my whole army basically, which is painful. Charlemagne is sitting now alone in Bayeux, but hey, he survives that battle. And that's something, right? It's not awesome, but it's something. Sadly, no stratagem markers. That's a shame, but we can spend 1 more point to enter Bayeux now. So that gives us an additional buck. And I'm pretty sure it's interesting. Can he be attacked there if he's alone? I think it's going to be very hard with his 24 speed. I think nobody can really get him there. Okay, that was pretty brutal, but at least these guys are gone. And then I want to do a conversion attempt here in Thuringia. I want to get rid of this pagan religion here. So I got to activate the unit in Erfurt. And we got 2 missionary units here, so I'm going to throw them both in. And he doesn't have anything to defend himself. And we got a +1 because we occupy the burghs in the region. So we are at a 3 table here, so we need a 4, 5 or 6 to be successful. And we have that. Awesome. That's very good. So we can simply flip that. Thuringia is now Christian, and that makes it also easier later on during a vassalage attempt. Okay, now let me see. Yes, what I want to do is I want to move all these guys here onto these spaces. That was pretty stupid, actually. I realized something now, because I think they have a forage value of 0, these spaces. So that means I have to pay provision. So what I might consider is, instead of taking these units, Neustria, I forgot about that, I'm going to take these guys instead. These weaker units. That makes a lot more sense, because then I don't have to pay that much provisioning. So I'm going to take them during the levy phase instead. I mean, again, we could say that's cheating, but I say, hey, that's just reasonable and friendly gameplay. So, and I had the same idea here. Alemannia, we got also here a weaker unit, so we can move here. But we still have to pay for all these guys. And let's see if we have other units. Here, for example, what about this area? How dangerous are these guys? Can they move to Aachen? Well, I don't know. I think I'm going to move with these guys. Here to Frankfurt, for example. And maybe with that guy here. Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. I mean, I cannot repair. Actually, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I cannot repair all these castles anyway, so I'm gonna leave this one out of Frankfurt, and that one, I'm gonna leave them here, so I don't have to pay for the provisioning, because I don't have the money to remove all these pillaged markers in the next turn. So I have to pay 1, 2, and I think that's $3 now. And then if I want to remove the pillage, I have to pay 15 in the next turn. Okay, but right now I got to pay 3 for provisioning. And over here is this big army, 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to pay 3 more, I guess. So I got to pay 6 for provisioning. That's painful enough. I only have 12. So there goes half my money. Still, let's be honest, that turn was okay. I was very lucky that the tribal player lost the Emirat of Cordoba. Lombardy is gone. So his options are really limited now. He has to rebuild a Slavonic army that was completely defeated by Charlemagne here at Bayeux. The Vikings, yeah, okay, they are still a kind of a threat. On the other hand, they're sitting here now in Canterbury, so maybe they settle there or whatever, but that, I'm not sure. They only have then one army left, so I don't know how much damage they can do anymore. The guys here in Asturias, well, they are far away and not too powerful. The only really strong force the tribal player has left are the guys here in Hamburg, but they are kind of having this stalemate here with the guys in Bremen. I mean, we still might see an attack maybe from the Saxons, simply because if they wait too long, they risk a vassalage attempt, and the area is Christian, so that means that the Empire player has a good chance to take that away, and then this army would also be neutralized. So therefore, the tribal player, he is definitely playing more aggressive, you know, he doesn't have a ton to lose. And yeah, what is his plan? Well, right at the moment I think he can only wait, hope that he can somehow beat that army, and maybe, if he's lucky, we come to a new rebellion and he gets some interesting areas. That's the plan of the tribal player at the moment. Okay, so I'm gonna load this up. Hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.